I told you before on the last one that we wanted to check our fronts. You're going to see why in this one because of the way things work out. Sometimes whenever you factor, there was actually something else that could come out, and you have to learn how to adjust your answer so that it is correct. And today's assignment, or the 8.5D assignment, has 5 questions where the GCF can actually be fixed because there's actually a number included. Now, here's the first thing you could do. You could actually look for the GCF first and notice that 3, 24, and 45 can all be divided by 3. But of course, if you're like me, you don't always do that first. So let's say that we accidentally didn't catch that. So we do the translation first, and we look and say, okay, you're looking for numbers that multiply to be whatever 45 times 3 is, because remember, we can deal with big numbers. We're not afraid of that, which is 135. And adds to make negative 24. Again, I don't know what numbers make 135 off the top of my head, but I do know that 1 and 135 don't make 24. I also know that 2 doesn't go into 135, so now I have to go into the calculator. 135 divided by 3 is 45. But again, those two don't make 24. 135 doesn't go into, 4 doesn't go into it because even numbers aren't going to go into it. 135 divided by 5 is 27. So 5 and 27, that's 33 and 22. Nope. 135 divided by 6. Again, even numbers should not go into this. That's something you'll learn eventually. 135 divided by 7. No. 135 divided by 8. No. 135 divided by 9 is 15. And from what I see, 9 plus 15 is 24. Just do a quick check. And it is. And so we have these two numbers are the numbers I'm looking for, with this meaning that 15 is negative, and the only way I get from negative 15 to negative 24 is if 9 is negative. Again, continuing this, putting 3x over negative 9 and 3x over negative 15, reducing these, this turns into x over negative 3, and this turns into x over negative 5. And when you put those into parentheses, x minus 3 times x minus 5, yes, that is what my answer tells me, but let's check the fronts and backs. 3 or x times x is not 3x squared. 3 times 5 is not 45. And so that is where you have to look and say x times x is only x squared, and I need to multiply that by 3 to make it match. What we really did was we took this and we simply distributed out of 3, or factored out of 3, and left it as x squared minus 8x plus 15. So you could also do that and factor the inside, or I think the safest way, it doesn't really hurt to do it that way as long as you check your fronts and your backs there, to just say this is x squared and I need to be multiplying that by 3, and so you simply put the 3 there to offset the fact that there was more that came out of it than we thought. It's not a hard question. You just have to make sure you pay attention by checking what's going on. If you've made it this far, it means that you're pretty good at factoring, which means that this step really should not confuse you much, because you're good at factoring at this point, and it's just a matter of checking your work, which all of us should be doing. Again, I'm going to work this out using the strategy that I know. Multiplies be negative 160, adds to be 6. 160 is a big number. 1 times 160 definitely not it. 2 times 80 definitely not it. You can't get 6 out of those big numbers. 3 I don't think goes in. 4 times 40, nope. 160 divided by 5 I'm pretty sure also doesn't do it. 5 and 32, still too far away. 160 divided by 6, it's just like a puzzle most of the time. Nope. 160, I don't think 7 goes in either. 160 divided by 8 is 20, but those two don't make 6. 160 divided by 9, no. 160 divided by 10, you just have to kind of be persistent and look, and carefully look, because the worst thing you want to do is cross off something that actually does work. 10 and 16 don't add to make 6, but they do subtract to make 6. And notice that 160 is negative, which means the signs are different. This means that 16 is positive. It means that in order to get from 16 to 6, 10 must be negative. And so we take this 8x and put it over negative 10, and we put 8x over 16. This reduces because everything can be divided by 2 to be 4x over negative 5. This reduces because 8 goes into 16 to be x over 2. And in the end, what we get is 4x minus 5 times x plus 2. But again, checking the fronts, which is why you have to do this on all your questions. 4x times x is not 8x squared, just like 5 times 2 is not 20. And all you have to do is this. It's a very quick shift. 4x times x is 4x squared. If I want 4x squared to be 8x squared, excuse me, I simply have to multiply by 2. Or, as you could have done before, you could have said, you know what, 2 comes out of all this stuff, and so I have to pull the 2 off first and then factor. However you do that, just make sure you work on getting some sort of a system to adjust your answer. And as I said, go to your last assignment for this. If you finish that, go ahead and do the review for the chapter, and then we'll go from there. Good luck.